Mr. Yoon, can you hear me? The voice cut through the fog like a blade. I tried to move my mouth, but pain ripped through my jaw. Don't try to speak. You've been unconscious for 3 weeks. The facial reconstruction surgery was extensive. Facial reconstruction? My eyes struggled against the light. White ceiling. Sterile smell. A doctor's blurred face hovering above me, his expression carefully neutral. You're fortunate to be alive, he continued, adjusting something on the force stand. The fall should have killed you. Do you remember anything? The fall. Memory slammed into me. Cold wind, the city lights spinning below, hands on my back. Min-suk. The doctor leaned closer. What did you say? But the name had already dissolved into darkness, dragging me back under. When I woke again, the room was empty. Twilight bled through the window, painting everything in shades of bruised purple. My body felt foreign, heavy and disconnected, like I was wearing someone else's skin. I lifted my hand. Scarred. Unfamiliar. Wrong. The mirror on the opposite wall caught my attention. I shouldn't look. Some instinct screamed at me not to look. I looked anyway. The man staring back wasn't me. Sharp cheekbones. A thin scar cutting through the left eyebrow. Eyes that seemed darker, harder. This stranger's face was all angles and shadows, nothing like the soft features I remembered seeing every morning in whose mirror? My reflection blurred as tears came unbidden. I didn't understand why I was crying. I didn't understand anything except this crushing certainty that I had died. You survived a suicide attempt, Mr. Yoon. A nurse had entered without me noticing. She was young, kind-eyed. Your landlord found you in time. You're safe now. Suicide attempt? No, that wasn't right. I hadn't. But the memories were there, suddenly, like someone had unlocked a door in my mind. Yoon Tae-ha, age 28. Graphic designer. Alone. So desperately alone that he'd climbed to his apartment roof, and I had climbed into his skin. My voice came out rough, unfamiliar. I need to see a newspaper. Today's date. The nurse hesitated. Mr. Yoon, you should rest. Please. Something in my tone made her comply. She returned minutes later with her phone, showing me the screen. October 17th, 2024. 2 years. I'd been gone for 2 years. Before I tell you what happened, I said to no one, my voice barely a whisper, subscribe to Obsessed Hearts, and tell me where you're watching from. The nurse gave me a strange look, but I'd already turned away, my mind racing. The memories came in fragments over the following days. Hajun. My real name was Hajun. 26 years old. Omega. Married to an alpha named Kong Min-suk, a brilliant architect with gentle hands and eyes that held secrets. I remembered morning coffee. Min-suk standing in our kitchen, sunlight turning his dark hair bronze, smiling at me over the rim of his cup. Good morning, beautiful. I remembered the way he'd kiss my forehead before leaving for work, lingering just a moment too long, like he was memorizing me. I remembered feeling loved. I also remembered feeling like I was living with a ghost. Min-suk would disappear some nights. Work emergency, he'd say, but his cologne would smell different when he returned, expensive, unfamiliar. He'd slip into bed beside me and hold me so tightly it hurt, whispering apologies I didn't understand. What are you sorry for? I'd asked once. Everything, he'd said. I'm sorry for everything I can't tell you. The memories sharpened, cutting deeper. I remembered following him one night, watching him enter a luxury high-rise downtown, waiting 3 hours until he emerged, his face wrecked with guilt. I remembered the name on the building directory, Jiwoon Enterprises. CEO, Park Jiwoon. I remembered researching that name, finding photos of a man who looked like he'd been carved from marble and cruelty, dominant, powerful, devastatingly handsome. The kind of alpha who owned everything he touched, including apparently my husband. The final memory came on my 4th night in the hospital. I was standing on our penthouse balcony. October wind cut through my thin shirt. Inside, through the glass doors, I could see Min-suk on the phone, his back to me. His voice was muffled, but I caught fragments. Can't do this anymore. He deserves better. I won't leave Hajun. Then another voice, crystal clear, coming from the phone speaker. Choose. Him or me. Min-suk's shoulders collapsed. Jiwoon, please. I've been patient, Min-suk. But my patience has limits. If you won't cut him loose, I will. Don't hurt Hajun. I'm begging you. Then disappear from his life. Tonight. I must have made a sound, a gasp, a sob, because Min-suk spun around, his eyes finding mine through the glass. Horror flooded his face. Hajun. I stepped back. My heel caught the balcony's edge. Time crystallized. Minsuk's mouth opened in a shout I couldn't hear over the wind. He was running, crashing through the glass doors, his hand reaching. And then pressure on my back. Hard. Deliberate. I fell. The city lights blurred into stars. The last thing I saw was Minsuk's face, twisted in anguish, his hand outstretched toward me. The last thing I heard was his scream. "No." I woke gasping, my hospital gown soaked with sweat. "They said it was suicide," I whispered to the empty room. They lied. Minsuk had pushed me. Or he'd stood by while Jiwoon's people did. Either way, he'd chosen his lover over me. He'd killed me for another man. The grief should have destroyed me. Instead, it crystallized into something harder, sharper. Rage. I was Yoon Tae-ha now. Different face. Different voice. Different life. Minsuk would never recognize me. Which meant I could get close. Learn the truth. Make them both pay for what they'd stolen from me. The nurse returned for evening rounds, finding me out of bed for the first time, standing at the window. "Mr. Yoon, you shouldn't be up." "I need to be discharged," I said. My reflection in the dark glass stared back, a stranger with familiar eyes. "I need to go home. The doctor wants to keep you under observation." "I'm fine." I turned to face her, and whatever she saw in my expression made her step back. "I have something I need to do." They released me 3 days later with a prescription for painkillers and a psychiatrist's card I threw away immediately. The first thing I did was buy a burner phone and search for news about Ha-joon. The articles were brief, buried in the city section. Omega Ha-joon, 26, dies in apparent suicide. Kong Minsuk, widowed architect, refuses comment. Friends describe Ha-joon as quiet, gentle, loved. Suicide. They called it suicide. I found one photo, taken at our wedding. Minsuk and I standing beneath cherry blossoms, his arm around my waist, both of us smiling. He looked at me in that photo like I was his entire world. Liar. I zoomed in on his face, searching for traces of deception. But all I saw was love. Actors, I muttered. Both of you. I spent the next week researching. Jiwoon Enterprises was a corporate giant. Real estate, tech investments, political connections that ran deep. Park Jiwoon himself was 34, never married, famously private. Photographs showed him at charity galas and business conferences. Always impeccably dressed, always alone. Except for one photo from 2 years ago. A blurry shot taken outside a restaurant. Jiwoon's hand on someone's lower back, guiding them toward a car. The someone was Minsuk. My hands clenched around the phone hard enough to crack the screen. Minsuk still worked for Jiwoon Enterprises. Lead architect on their new cultural center project. I found his employee profile, same handsome face but hollowed out older. Dark circles under his eyes. The smile missing. Good. Let him suffer. Though not nearly as much as he'd made me suffer. I found Jiwoon Enterprises' career page and scrolled through listings. They needed a design assistant for their marketing department. Taeha's background fit perfectly. I updated the resume, attached Taeha's portfolio, and hit send. 3 days later, I received an interview request. The email was signed, Park Jiwoon CEO. I stared at that name until my vision blurred. They called it suicide, I said again, tasting the words. Testing their weight. They're about to learn what real tragedy looks like. I pressed my hand against the window, watching the city lights flicker in the distance. Somewhere out there, Minsuk was living his life. Somewhere out there, Jiwoon was getting away with murder. Not for much longer. I had died once. I wouldn't waste this second chance. "I'm coming for you both," I whispered. "And when I'm done, you'll wish you'd made sure I stayed dead." "Mr. Yoon Tae-ha?" The receptionist's voice was professional, detached. She gestured toward the elevator with manicured nails. "Top floor. Mr. Park is expecting you." I nodded, not trusting my voice. The Jiwoon Enterprises lobby was all glass and steel, cold, imposing, designed to make visitors feel small. It worked. The elevator ascended in silence. I watched my reflection in the mirrored walls. Taeha's face stared back, expressionless. Good. I couldn't afford to crack now. The doors opened directly into a penthouse office. And there he was. Park Jiwoon stood with his back to me, silhouetted against floor-to-ceiling windows. The city sprawled beneath him like a kingdom. He was taller than I'd expected, broader. Even from behind, his presence filled the room, commanding, absolute. Punctual. He turned slowly. I appreciate that. The first thing I noticed was his eyes. Dark, calculating, the kind that missed nothing. The second thing was his smile, practiced, charming, empty. The third thing was the way he looked at me. Like I was prey. "Mr. Park." I bowed slightly, keeping my expression neutral. Thank you for this opportunity. Your portfolio impressed me. He moved closer, each step deliberate. Your design philosophy is interesting. Beauty through pain. Explain. I'd written that line specifically to catch his attention. Predators were always drawn to wounded things. Pain refines, I said. It strips away everything unnecessary. What remains is honest. Pure. His smile widened. You've experienced pain then. Haven't we all? Some more than others. He stopped directly in front of me, close enough that I could smell his cologne. Expensive, suffocating. The same scent I'd smelled on Minsuk 2 years ago. Tell me, Teha, may I call you Teha? I nodded. Tell me why you want to work here. Because you murdered me. Because I'm going to destroy you. I admire what you've built, I said instead. Jiwoon Enterprises doesn't just create buildings. You create legacies. Legacies. He seemed to taste the word. Yes. Though sometimes legacies require sacrifice. The way he said sacrifice made my skin crawl. He reached out suddenly, his fingers catching my chin, tilting my face toward the light. I froze. Fascinating, he murmured. Your bone structure. The way you hold yourself. You remind me of someone. Every instinct screamed at me to pull away. I didn't. Someone important? I kept my voice steady. Someone beautiful. His thumb brushed my jaw. Someone who's gone. Hajun. He meant Hajun. The realization hit like ice water. He wasn't just a killer. He was obsessed. I'm sorry for your loss, I said carefully. Don't be. He released me, stepping back. Some people are better as memories. Less complicated. Dead, he meant. Less complicated when dead. Rage burned through my veins, but I forced a small smile. So, do I get the job? Jiwoon laughed, a sound that held no warmth. You're hired. Start Monday. My assistant will handle the paperwork. He turned back to the windows, dismissing me. I was halfway to the elevator when he spoke again. One more thing, Teha. I stopped. Be careful in this building. People have a tendency to fall. The elevator doors closed on his smile. I spent the weekend preparing. Researching Jiwoon's schedule, mapping the office layout, planning every detail of my infiltration. I didn't let myself think about Minsuk. Except I did. Constantly. Late Saturday night, I found myself outside the penthouse where we'd lived. Where I'd died. The building doorman didn't recognize Teha's face, didn't stop me from entering. I took the stairs to the 20th floor. Our door, his door now, was unchanged. Same number. Same welcome mat I'd chosen, because it had sunflowers. I pressed my hand against the wood, remembering. Hajun, I'm home. Minsuk's arms around me, lifting me off my feet, spinning me until I was dizzy and laughing. I missed you, he'd whispered into my hair. You were only gone 8 hours. 8 hours too long. Had any of it been real? I pulled my hand back. It didn't matter. Real or not, it was over. Monday came too quickly. Jiwoon Enterprises' design department occupied the 18th floor. My cubicle was near the windows, good sightlines, close to the executive elevator. You're the new guy? I turned. A woman in her 30s stood there, holding 2 coffee cups. She had kind eyes and silver streaks in her dark hair. Yoon Tae-ha, I said. Lee Sun-mi, senior designer. Welcome to hell. She handed me one of the cups. Word of advice. Jiwoon likes his assistants attractive and obedient. You're definitely the first part. Try not to become the second. What happens if I do? Her smile faded. Nothing good. The last guy who caught his interest quit after 3 months. Wouldn't say why. Before I could respond, the elevator chimed. Every head in the department turned. Jiwoon emerged, flanked by 2 men in suits. And behind them, my heart stopped. Minsuk. He looked worse than his employee photo suggested. Thinner. Older. He moved like someone carrying an enormous weight, his shoulders hunched, his eyes fixed on the floor. Morning meeting, Sun-mi muttered. Lucky you. First day and you get to see the circus. They passed our area. Jiwoon's hand rested on Minsuk's shoulder. Possessive, controlling. Minsuk flinched but didn't pull away. I watched them disappear into the conference room. My hands clenched so tight my nails drew blood. You okay? Sun-mi was studying me. Fine. Just nervous. Understandable. Come on. I'll show you the break room. You look like you need something stronger than coffee. I made it through the morning without incident. Routine tasks. Organizing files, updating design specs, pretending to be normal. At lunch, I stayed at my desk. Most of the department headed out, leaving the floor quiet. That's when Minsuk appeared. He emerged from the executive elevator alone, carrying a rolled set of blueprints. He moved toward the design archives, not looking up, lost in whatever nightmare he lived in. I should have stayed hidden. Should have waited. Instead, I stood and walked directly into his path. We collided. The blueprints scattered across the floor. Minsuk dropped to his knees immediately, gathering them with shaking hands. "I'm sorry," he said automatically. "I wasn't watching." "It's fine." I knelt beside him, reaching for the nearest blueprint. Our fingers touched. Minsuk went completely still. Slowly, so slowly, he looked up. Our eyes met. The world narrowed to that single point of contact. His hand under mine. His face inches away. His breath catching. "You." His voice was barely a whisper. "Your eyes." I pulled back quickly, standing. "Sorry. I'm new. Yoon Tae-ha." He didn't respond. Just stared at me like he was seeing a ghost. Which I supposed he was. "Are you all right?" I asked. "No." The word escaped him like a confession. He scrambled to his feet, backing away. "No, I might have to." He fled. Literally ran back to the elevator, leaving the blueprints scattered on the floor. Sunmi appeared from the break room, watching his retreat with raised eyebrows. "What did you say to him?" "Nothing. We just bumped into each other." "Huh. Kong Min-suk usually doesn't react to anything anymore. You must have really spooked him." "Kong Min-suk." I pretended ignorance. Lead architect. Used to be brilliant, apparently. Now he's just Ji-woon's personal puppet. She lowered her voice. "Rumor is he lost his spouse a couple years back. Never recovered. Ji-woon keeps him around out of. Well, no one's really sure why. Because Ji-woon owned him. Because Min-suk knew what Ji-woon had done and couldn't escape. That's sad," I managed. "Would you forgive someone who mistook your pain for love?" Sunmi's question seemed to come from nowhere. Comment below. I stared at her. She shrugged. "Sorry. Therapist's habit. You looked like you were thinking something heavy. I was just wondering why someone would stay in a situation like that. Guilt, probably. Or fear. Sometimes they're the same thing." She squeezed my shoulder. "Come on. Let me buy you lunch. You survived your first morning. That deserves celebration." The week passed in careful observation. Ji-woon was exactly as dangerous as I'd imagined. Charismatic in public, calculating in private. He ran his company like a kingdom and his employees like subjects. Everyone feared him. Some desired him. No one trusted him. He called me to his office twice. Once to review my initial design work. Once to ask personal questions that had nothing to do with work. "Do you believe in reincarnation, Tae-ha?" The question caught me off guard. We were alone in his office, the city lights glittering behind him. "I haven't thought about it." "I do." He swirled whiskey in a crystal glass. "I think some souls are too strong to stay gone. They find their way back." "Is that what you hope for? That someone will come back?" His smile turned sharp. "Hope? No. I know they will. And when they do, I'll be ready." The intensity in his gaze made my skin crawl. He wasn't talking hypothetically. He was talking about me. About Hajun. "Stay late tonight," he said suddenly. "I have a new project. I want your fresh perspective." It wasn't a request. "Of course, Mr. Park." The office emptied as evening fell. I watched Min-suk leave at 6, his movements mechanical. He never looked my direction anymore. Actively avoided me. Good. I needed distance to execute my plan. By 8, only Ji-woon's floor had lights on. I took the executive elevator up, my heart hammering. He was waiting in his office, jacket off, sleeves rolled up. 2 glasses of wine sat on his desk. "Tae-ha." He gestured to the chair across from him. "Sit." I obeyed, keeping my expression neutral. "You've impressed me this week." He slid 1 glass toward me. "You're talented. Discreet. Exactly what I need." "Thank you. I'm hosting a gallery opening next month. Private event. Very exclusive. I'd like you there. As your designer? As my guest." The implication was clear. I picked up the wine glass, buying time. "I'm flattered, but..." His tone sharpened. "I don't mix business with personal matters." "How professional." He stood, moving around the desk. "But this isn't business anymore, Tae-ha. From the moment you walked into my office, I knew you were different." He was behind my chair now. I felt his presence like heat. "Different how?" "Special." His hand settled on my shoulder. "The way you move. The way you think. Even the way you look at me, like you're hiding something." "I am. I'm hiding everything. I'm just an employee, Mr. Park. Call me Ji-woon." His fingers brushed my neck. "And you're much more than an employee. You're a gift." I stood abruptly, putting distance between us. "I should go. It's late." "Stay." Not a request this time. A command. "Ji-woon." 5 more minutes. That's all I ask. He moved closer, backing me against the windows. Let me show you something. He pulled out his phone, swiping through photos. Then he held it up. My face, Hajun's face, stared back at me. This was him, Jiwoon said softly. Beautiful, wasn't he? Delicate. Innocent. Everything pure in this world. My throat closed. He died 2 years ago. And every day since, I've searched for something, someone, to fill that void. His free hand came up, fingers ghosting along my jaw. Then you appeared. I'm not him. No. You're better. You're real. You're here. He leaned in. His lips brushed my ear. Let me have you, Taeha. Let me show you what he never understood. Every fiber of my being screamed to push him away. To run. But I needed information. Needed to understand the full scope of his obsession. So I stayed frozen as his mouth found my neck. I'll think about it, I whispered. He pulled back, satisfied. Take your time. I'm a patient man. Liar. Everything about him screamed impatience. The gallery opening, I said. I'll be your guest. His smile was victory. Perfect. Now go home. Rest. I'll see you tomorrow. I left before my composure shattered. The night air hit me like salvation. I walked blindly, trying to scrub the feeling of his touch from my skin. My feet carried me without conscious thought. When I finally looked up, I was standing outside a cemetery. The gates were locked, but I climbed over easily. Found the path by moonlight. Hajun's grave was simple. Just a stone with dates and a name that used to be mine. Asterisk beloved spouse. Taken too soon, asterisk. Minsuk's words carved in granite. I knelt in the grass, tracing the letters. I met him, I whispered to the stone. The man who killed us. He's exactly as you remembered. Charming, empty, cruel. He wants me now. Wants to replace you. The wind stirred the trees overhead. I'm going to let him think he can. I'm going to get close, learn everything, and then... Who are you talking to? I spun. Minsuk stood 10 feet away, holding wilted flowers. His face was pale in the moonlight, eyes red-rimmed. We stared at each other. I come here every night, he said finally. Who are you? Someone who shouldn't be here. I stood slowly. I'll leave. Wait. He moved closer, studying my face in the darkness. At the office. When we touched. You felt. Felt what? Familiar. His voice cracked. Like coming home. My heart was breaking, and I couldn't let it show. I should go. Your voice. He was right in front of me now. The way you speak. Please. Tell me your name again. Yoon Tae-ha. But before that, who were you before? No one. Everyone. The person you killed. I'm sorry about your loss, I said instead. Are you? His hand lifted, hovering near my face. Because I'm not sure you're sorry at all. I think you're angry. Why would I be angry? Because he dropped his hand, stepping back. I don't know. Nothing makes sense anymore. Not since he. Since he what? Minsuk's eyes glistened. Since he left me. The flowers slipped from his grip, scattering across Hajun's grave. I walked away before I could do something unforgivable. Like tell him the truth. You're distracted. Jiwoon's voice cut through my thoughts. We were in his penthouse, not the office, his actual home, reviewing designs for the gallery opening. Crystal chandeliers. Marble floors. Windows that turn the city into a painting. Just focused, I said, adjusting the layout on my tablet. No. Distracted. He moved behind me, hands settling on my shoulders. You've been different since last week. Distant. Since the cemetery. Since Minsuk's broken voice asking who I was. I'm fine. Liar. His fingers kneaded the tension in my muscles. Talk to me, Taeha. What's troubling you? Everything. You. Him. This entire nightmare. Just tired, I said. He turned my chair around, forcing me to face him. I don't tolerate dishonesty. If something's wrong, tell me. The command in his voice was absolute. This was the real Jiwoon, the one who demanded total control. I met his gaze. Do you ever regret things? Choices you made. His expression shifted, something almost human flickering beneath the surface. Every day. Like what? Like being too gentle. He released me, moving to the windows. There was someone I loved once. I gave them space, respected their choices. And I lost them because of it. Hajun. He meant Hajun. What would you do differently? Everything. His reflection in the glass was cold, determined. I'd keep them close. Remove every obstacle. Make sure they understood they belonged to me. Nausea twisted my stomach. That's not love. That's possession. Is there a difference? He turned back, studying me. You're young. You still believe in fairy tales. But real love is about control. About making sure what's yours stays yours. Even if it destroys them? Better destroyed and mine than alive and someone else's. The casual cruelty of it stole my breath. He crossed the room, cupping my face with both hands. You understand, don't you? You're running from something too. I can see it in your eyes. I should have pulled away. Should have maintained distance. Instead, I let him tilt my face up. Let him study me like I was a puzzle to solve. What happened to him? I asked. The person you loved. They fell. His thumb traced my lower lip. And I wasn't there to catch them. Liar. You pushed them. You ordered it. I'm sorry, I whispered. Don't be. He leaned closer, his breath warm against my mouth. You're here now. That's all that matters. His lips brushed mine, gentle testing. I forced myself not to recoil. This was part of the plan. Get close. Gather evidence. Destroy him from the inside. But when his kiss deepened, possessive and demanding, all I could think was, this is the mouth that ordered my death. I broke away, standing abruptly. I should finish the designs. Later. He caught my wrist. Stay tonight. Let me show you what it means to be treasured. Ji-woon. I'm not asking. The threat underneath was clear. Refuse and face consequences. I was trapped. One condition, I said. His eyebrow raised. You're negotiating? I want access to your private archives. The old project files. For research. Why? Because good design requires understanding history. Your company's legacy. I want to create something that honors it. He studied me for a long moment, then smiled. Smart. Beautiful and smart. Fine. I'll have my assistant grant you access tomorrow. Thank you. Now. He pulled me back toward him. Stop thinking about work. I left his penthouse at 3 a.m., my skin crawling, my mind racing. He'd been gentle. Almost tender. It made everything worse. Monsters weren't supposed to have soft touches and whispered promises. The next morning, I received the access codes to Ji-woon's private server. Years of company records, confidential files, everything. I waited until lunch when the office emptied. Then I started searching. Financial records. Construction permits. Employee contracts. And then, a folder labeled Personal, October 2022. My hands shook as I opened it. Audio files. Dozens of them. I plugged in headphones and clicked the first one. Ridiculous, Ji-woon. I'm not leaving him. Min-suk's voice. Younger, stronger than it was now. You don't have a choice. I've been patient for 3 years. Watching you play house with that Omega makes me sick. Ha-joon is my husband. I love him. You love me. You've always loved me. He's just a distraction. No. I care about you, but Ha-joon, he's everything. He's good and kind, and he deserves better than being caught in whatever this is between us. Silence. Then Ji-woon's voice ice cold. Then I'll remove the obstacle. What? You heard me. If you won't choose freely, I'll make the choice for you. Don't you dare threaten him. Ji-woon, I'm warning you. You're warning me? How sweet. Go home to your Omega, Min-suk. Enjoy your last days of domestic bliss. The file ended. I clicked the next one. Dated October 15th, 2022. 2 days before I died. It's arranged. Mr. Kong will receive a call about an emergency at the office. He'll arrive to find the Omega alone on the balcony. A different voice. Professional. Cold. And, Ji-woon asked, the fall will look accidental. Or suicidal. Either way, there won't be questions. What about Min-suk? He'll arrive 3 minutes too late. Just as you specified. Close enough to try to save him. Too late to succeed. Perfect. Make sure he sees the fall. I want that image burned into his memory. Understood. Payment on completion. Half now. Half after the funeral. The recording ended. I sat frozen, headphones silent in my ears. Min-suk didn't kill me. Didn't order it. Didn't even know. He tried to save me. And Ji-woon made sure he'd fail. Made sure he'd blame himself. Made sure he'd be broken and controllable and... The office door opened. Sunmi stood there, concern etched on her face. Taeha? You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. I yanked the headphones out. I'm fine. You're crying. I touched my face. My fingers came away wet. I just found something upsetting. Old files. She moved closer, lowering her voice. What kind of files? I shouldn't tell her. Shouldn't involve anyone else. But I was drowning and needed an anchor. Evidence, I whispered. Of something terrible. Her expression hardened. Ji-woon. I nodded. I knew it. She pulled up a chair, sitting beside me. That man is a monster. Half the people who've left this company have NDAs thick enough to choke on. Whatever you found, be careful. He destroys people who threaten him. I know. Do you? Because you look like you're planning something stupid. Would you forgive someone who mistook your pain for love? The question escaped before I could stop it. Comment below. Sunmi blinked. What? Sorry. I closed the laptop. Someone I know is suffering because of a misunderstanding. A terrible one. And I don't know if they can come back from it. Can you fix it? I don't know. Maybe. If I can prove the truth. She squeezed my shoulder. Then prove it. But don't get yourself killed in the process. Whatever Jiwoon did, it's not worth your life. If only she knew. I couldn't focus for the rest of the day. Couldn't stop hearing Min-suk's voice on those recordings. The love. The desperation. The absolute conviction that Ha-joon mattered more than anything. He'd tried to save me. He'd failed. And he'd been living in that failure ever since. After work, I didn't go home. I went to the cemetery again. Min-suk was already there. He knelt in front of the grave, shoulders shaking. Fresh flowers lay scattered across the stone. White chrysanthemums, Ha-joon's favorite. I should have left. Should have given him privacy. Instead, I walked forward until I stood beside him. He looked up, eyes red and swollen. You again? Me again? Why do you keep coming here? Because it's my grave. Because I need to understand. Because I lost someone too, I said. Someone important. He turned back to the stone. Then you understand. The way it never stops hurting. The way you replay every moment, searching for the choice that could have changed everything. What would you have changed? Everything. Nothing. I don't know. His hand pressed against the carved name. I should have been faster. Should have been there sooner. Should have. His voice broke. I knelt beside him, close enough to feel his grief like radiation. Tell me what happened, I said softly. Why? You're a stranger. Sometimes strangers are easier to tell. He laughed bitterly. You sound like him. Ha-joon always said that. Tell me your secrets. I'm safe. My throat closed. He was right, Min-suk continued. He was the safest person in the world. And I failed to protect him. How? I was involved with someone dangerous. Someone who didn't understand that I could care about them both. I thought I could manage it. Thought I could keep them separate. He wiped his eyes roughly. I was an idiot. What happened the night he died? I got a call. Emergency at the office. But when I arrived, it was a trap. They delayed me just long enough. He choked on the words. I heard him scream. I ran. I saw him falling and I reached. His hand extended into empty air, fingers grasping nothing. I touched him. For 1 second, I had his hand. But he slipped. Or I wasn't strong enough. Or, he curled forward, forehead touching the grass. It should have been me. It should have been me. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think past the image of Min-suk's hand reaching for mine. Almost close enough. Almost. It wasn't your fault, I said. Yes, it was. I brought danger into his life. I thought I could control it. Control him, he stopped. The person I was involved with. Jiwoon. He orchestrated everything. You know that. I suspected. But I had no proof. And he threatened Ha-joon's family. Said if I exposed him, they'd have accidents too. So I stayed quiet. Took the job he offered. Became his puppet. He finally looked at me again. That's my punishment. Working for the man who killed my husband every single day. Why not leave? Run. Where would I go? Ha-joon is here. In this city. In this ground. I can't leave him alone. The devotion in his voice shattered something inside me. He wouldn't want you to suffer like this, I whispered. How do you know? Because I caught myself. Because no one who loved you would want that. Min-suk's hand reached out, fingers ghosting along my cheek. You're crying. Why? Your story. It's heartbreaking. No. His touch was gentle, searching. It's something else. You cry like you're mourning someone specific. Who did you lose? Myself. You. Us. Someone who can't come back, I said. None of them can. His hand dropped. We just learned to live with the ghosts. We sat in silence as darkness fell. Two people kneeling before a grave, carrying different versions of the same grief. Finally, Min-suk stood. I should go. Jiwoon expects me at dinner. You're having dinner with him? After everything. I told you. I'm his puppet. He looked down at me, something unreadable in his expression. But you should stay away from this place. From me. From all of it. Whatever pain you're carrying, don't let it consume you the way mine has. What if I can't help it? Then you'll end up like me. A ghost haunting your own life. He walked away, leaving me alone with my name carved in stone. I pressed my hand against the grave marker. I found the truth, I whispered. He tried to save me. He loved me. And Ji-woon destroyed us both. The wind carried my words into nothing. I'm going to fix this. I promised the ghost I used to be. I'm going to save him this time. Even if it costs me everything. Where have you been? Ji-woon's voice was sharp as glass. I'd barely entered his office when he rounded on me, eyes dark with suspicion. Research. For the gallery design. Don't lie to me. He moved closer, backing me against the door. My driver saw you at the cemetery. Again. You've been there 3 times this week. My pulse spiked. I told you. I lost someone. Who? Does it matter? His hand slammed against the door beside my head. Everything about you matters. Every secret. Every thought. Every person you mourn. His face was inches from mine. Tell me who's buried there. I couldn't. Wouldn't. A friend. You're lying. His thumb pressed against my throat, feeling my racing pulse. You've been distant since you started visiting that grave. Since you started talking to him. Him. Min-suk. I don't know what you. Kang Min-suk. My architect. My property. The possessiveness in his tone was chilling. Stay away from him. We've barely spoken. Then why does he ask about you? Why does he watch you when he thinks no one's looking? Ji-woon's grip tightened. What did you tell him? Nothing. I swear. Swear on what? Your dead friend. His smile was vicious. Maybe I should visit that grave. See who's important enough to make you lie. Terror flooded through me. If he saw Ha-jun's name. Please. The word came out broken. Leave it alone. Why? What are you hiding, Taeha? Everything. My identity. My purpose. The recordings I'd copied. I'm not hiding anything. His eyes narrowed. Then he released me, stepping back. Prove it. Tonight. The gallery opening. Stay by my side the entire evening. Show everyone you're mine. I'm not. You are. He straightened his tie, composure returning. 8 p.m. Wear something elegant. I want people to see what I've claimed. He left me trembling against the door. I didn't go home. I went straight to the police station. The detective who took my statement was middle-aged, skeptical. I showed him everything. The audio files, the financial records, the timeline of Ha-jun's death. This is serious, he said finally. But it's also 2 years old. We'd need more to reopen the case. What about the recordings? Ji-woon literally admits to ordering a murder. Circumstantial. A good lawyer would claim they're fabricated or taken out of context. He leaned back. You need something concrete. Witness testimony. Physical evidence. Something that directly ties him to the crime scene. What about Min-suk? Kang Min-suk. He was there. He could testify. About what? Arriving too late to prevent a fall? That's not evidence of murder. That's tragedy. The detective softened slightly. Look, I believe you. But belief isn't enough for prosecution. Get me something irrefutable and I'll move mountains. Until then, my hands are tied. I left the station feeling hollow. One option remained. I had to make Ji-woon confess. Publicly. Irrefutably. The gallery opening was the perfect stage. I arrived at 8 wearing a black suit Taeha would never have afforded. Ji-woon had sent it with a note. Dressed the part. The gallery was packed with Seoul's elite. Politicians, celebrities, business magnates. Crystal glasses. Champagne fountains. Art that costs more than most people's homes. Ji-woon found me immediately, possessive hand settling on my lower back. Perfect, he murmured. You look perfect. He paraded me through the crowd, introducing me as his protege. The implication was clear. People smiled knowingly, some with envy, others with pity. I endured it. Smiled. Played the part. Then I saw Min-suk. He stood alone near a painting, glass of wine untouched in his hand. He wore a suit that hung too loose on his frame, evidence of weight loss. When our eyes met across the room, something passed between us, recognition, pain, longing. Ji-woon noticed immediately. Stay here, he commanded, then strode toward Min-suk. I watched them argue in fierce whispers. Ji-woon's hand gripped Min-suk's arm hard enough to bruise. Min-suk's face was carefully blank, years of practice hiding emotion. Then Ji-woon's phone rang. He answered, his expression darkening. Handle it. I'm busy. He pocketed the phone, leaning close to Min-suk's ear. Whatever he said made Min-suk flinch. Then Ji-woon walked away, heading toward his private office on the gallery's second floor. This was my chance. I followed, staying in the shadows. The office door was ajar. I heard Ji-woon's voice. Don't care what the cost is. I want it done tonight. Yes, the same way as before. Make it look like an accident. My blood turned to ice. Who? Ji-woon continued. The new designer. Taeha. He's become problematic. Too curious. Too close to Min-suk. He was ordering my death. Again. Have you ever loved again after loss? I whispered to the empty hallway. Share your story in the comments. Then I activated my phone's recording app and pushed the door open. Ji-woon spun, surprise flashing across his face before his expression smoothed. Taeha. I was just ordering my murder. I held up the phone. I heard everything. His eyes went cold. Put that down. No. I won't ask again. Good. I backed toward the door. Because I'm leaving. I'm going to the police with this recording and the others I found. The ones from October 2022. The ones where you planned Ha-jun's death. His composure cracked. How did you? You gave me access, remember? To your private files. You were so confident I'd never suspect. I smiled bitterly. But I knew what to look for. Because Ha-jun told me. In the moments before he died. Understanding dawned in his eyes. You're not just some random designer. You knew him. Better than you ever did. Then you understand. He moved closer, hands raised peacefully. I loved him. Everything I did was because I loved him. You killed him. I freed him from a marriage that was suffocating him. Min-suk couldn't give him what he needed. Min-suk gave him everything. Love. Safety. Happiness. He gave him mediocrity. Ji-woon's mask shattered completely. I could have given Ha-jun the world. But he was too blind to see it. Too attached to his pathetic alpha. You're insane. I'm dedicated. There's a difference. He was close now, too close. Put down the phone, Taeha. We can forget this happened. I'll even let you walk away. Liar. His hand shot out, grabbing my wrist. The phone clattered to the floor. We struggled. He was stronger, but desperation made me vicious. I fought like Ha-jun never could, with rage instead of fear. The office door burst open. Min-suk stood there, eyes wild. Let him go. Ji-woon didn't release me. This doesn't concern you. Everything about Taeha concerns me. Min-suk's voice was steel. I don't know why, but from the first moment I saw him, I knew. He's important. He's nobody. A distraction. Just like Ha-jun was. The name froze us all. Don't. Min-suk's hands clenched into fists. Don't say his name. Why not? He's dead because of your weakness. If you'd just left him when I asked. You killed him. Min-suk's voice broke. I knew it. All this time I knew, but I couldn't prove. And you never will. Ji-woon shoved me aside, pulling something from his desk drawer. A gun. The room tilted. This is how it ends, Ji-woon said calmly. Murder-suicide. Tragic. Min-suk, grief-stricken over his dead Omega, kills his co-worker then himself. So dramatic. So perfect. He aimed at Min-suk. I moved without thinking. Threw myself between them just as the shot fired. Pain exploded through my shoulder. I fell, the world turning sideways. No. Min-suk's scream sounded distant. No, no, no. Hands on my face. Min-suk's hands, shaking, checking my wound. Stay with me, he begged. Please stay. Min-suk. My voice came out wet wrong. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't trust you. What? Taeha don't. My name isn't Taeha. Blood filled my mouth. It's Ha-jun. I came back. I came back and I blamed you and I'm sorry. His face went white. What? Ha-jun. Ji-woon's voice cut through. He still held the gun, but his hand trembled. That's impossible. You died. I watched. You watched me fall. I coughed, each breath agony. But I survived. Different body. Same soul. Same memories of you destroying everything I loved. No. Ji-woon's composure shattered. No, if you're really Ha-jun then. His gun swung toward me. Then I'll finish it this time. Min-suk lunged. They collided, struggling for the weapon. It fired again, the shot going wide. They crashed through the office door, out onto the gallery balcony. I dragged myself after them, leaving a trail of blood. The party below had noticed. People screamed, scattered, pulled out phones. On the balcony, Ji-woon had Min-suk pinned against the railing, the gun pressed under his chin. I should have done this 2 years ago, Ji-woon snarled. Removed you instead of him. Do it. Min-suk's voice was eerily calm. Please, let me be with him. No. My voice stopped them both. I stood in the doorway, phone in my shaking hand. Everyone's watching, Ji-woon. Hundreds of phones recording. You pull that trigger, you'll never talk your way out. He looked down. Saw the crowd, the cameras, the arriving police. It's over, I said. You lost. For one terrible moment, I thought he'd shoot anyway. Then he smiled. If I can't have either of you. He released Min-suk and vaulted over the railing. Minsuk lunged, grabbing for him. Their fingers touched. Slipped. Jiwoon fell silently, disappearing into the darkness below. Just like I had. Poetic justice, cold and absolute. I woke in a hospital room flooded with afternoon light. Minsuk sat beside the bed, head bowed, hand wrapped around mine. You're awake. His voice was hoarse. Thank God. They said they weren't sure. How long? 3 days. The bullet missed your lung by centimeters. He finally looked up. Red eyes. Tear-stained cheeks. You died on the operating table. For 2 minutes, you were gone again, and I'm here. Are you? His grip tightened. Are you really Hajun? Or is this grief making me hallucinate? I lifted my free hand, touching his face. Do you remember our first date? You took me to that terrible restaurant and pretended to like the food, even though you're allergic to shellfish. You broke out in hives but kept eating because I seemed happy. His breath caught. Do you remember our wedding night? You were so nervous you dropped the ring 3 times. And later, you held me and whispered that you'd never stop being grateful I chose you. Tears spilled down his cheeks. Do you remember the morning I died? You made me coffee and kissed my forehead and said, I love you, like it was a prayer. Hajun. He pressed his forehead to mine. It's really you. It's really me. I came back. I'm sorry it took so long. You came back. He was laughing and crying simultaneously. You came back to me. I came back to destroy you. To make you suffer. I know. I would have deserved it. But then I learned the truth. That you tried to save me. That you've been dying slowly every day since I fell. Every day, he confirmed. Every single day. I'm sorry I doubted you. I'm sorry I wasn't fast enough. We stayed like that, foreheads touching, breathing each other's air, until the nurse insisted Minsuk let me rest. The aftermath was chaos. Jiwoon's death. The recordings released to media. The investigation that uncovered a decade of corruption. Minsuk testified. So did I. So did a dozen other victims Jiwoon had destroyed. It took 6 months to untangle everything. 6 months of healing. Of learning to live in Taeha's body. Of rebuilding trust with Minsuk, one careful conversation at a time. We didn't rush. Couldn't rush. We were different people now, shaped by loss and grief and survival. But we were also the same. Same souls. Same love. 1 year after Jiwoon's death, Minsuk took me to our old penthouse. I kept it, he admitted. Couldn't let it go. Couldn't let go of any part of you. We stood on the balcony where I'd died. Where he'd reached for me and failed. I forgive you, I said. Don't. I don't deserve. I forgive you anyway. I took his hands. And I need you to forgive yourself. I don't know how. Then let me show you. I pulled him close. Love me again. Love Taeha, who carries Hajun's soul. Love all of me, the person I was and the person I've become. His arms came around me, careful and reverent. I never stopped loving you. Even when I thought you were a stranger, I was falling all over again. Good. I tilted my face up. Because I came back for you. Through death. Through rage. Through everything. I came back. Never leave again. Never. I kissed him softly. This time we hold on. No matter what. No matter what, he agreed. The city lights sparkled below us. Same view. Same balcony. Different ending. This time, when I fell, it was into his arms. This time, he caught me. This time, we both survived.